Maybe it's gonna get called. Hold on. It's working. Oh, that's working. Okay. Maybe you have to call it the colonizer report. I don't like to process things from a elite billionaire perspective. I am not elite, nor am I a billionaire. So I don't like to process things from those perspectives. What I kind of think, I think we're always being played. I think we're being played by this colonizing psychopathic mindset. And so everything I do, I like to view it from that perspective. Oh, we don't have the comments going. Let's get the comments going. I like to view it from that perspective. I don't care what they want me to know. I want to see between the cracks. I want to talk about the things that they don't want me to talk about. I want to talk about what they're not talking about. So I spent a lot of time looking at international news, but everybody was talking about the Zuckerberg trial. Well, in the trial, it was just a hearing, which I found to be rather humorous from top to bottom, bottom to top, top to bottom. I found it to be rather humorous. So I kind of want to look at some of the highlights. It was a long one. I mean, it was what, 4 hours, I think, in total. So most people won't look at that. I just want to look at the things I thought were most significant, the things that we need to pay attention to, which I think where this is heading and what it was all about. But that's what I want to try to do today. Good morning, Nikki and Susan and Crystal and Marilyn. Brother Michael is in the house and Chris. We got Dawn. We got Mike and Michael. Shane, Susan, Crystal, everybody on time. Brother Mike gave me a hand. Gave Trump handy, Trump hand. Brother Mike and Nicole, Lynn, Alicia, Jennifer, Katie, Grace, Nora, Gabrielle, Jennifer, Gail, everybody on time, on time. Yeah. And Crystal was talking about the high chair. That was pretty funny. They did I guess you call them memes now. We used to call them pictures a long time ago, but they did a meme, pictures with words, but they're now called memes. And my kids, they educate me on these things. They did a meme. They had Zuckerberg sitting in a high chair. Did y'all see that? That was hilarious. And but you know what? I'm glad you started it off, Crystal, because that actually is what it's about. Hey, gal, you're late, girl. You're late. Do your homework. um, but but that actually, I like the picture. It was funny. It was hilarious. But I don't think we're processing it the right way. I don't think we're thinking about it the right way. I think a lot of people looked at the hearing and what they saw was a young man nervous in front of his rulers. It's not what I saw. That is not what I didn't see none of that. I didn't see any of that. You know what I saw? I saw a billionaire, a person, from a class of people who own colonies talking to the people put in place to run the colony. That's what I saw. I didn't see what you saw. I didn't see that. I saw reality TV. I saw a whole fake, drawn out dog and pony show where the billionaires hand to these lackey congressmen and senators who have no power to do anything other than what they're paid to do by the billionaire class, ask the questions that they were supposed to ask of this billionaire who is in the club that runs them. That's what I saw. That's what I saw. And I tell you why I saw that. I saw that because the boy had confidence. The boy was bad. I'm gonna tell you, if you watch Zucker, we're gonna watch some of the clips. I want to look at some of the questions and examine how he answered some of the critical questions. The boy went in there and he was not a boy. It's funny that the picture showed him in a high chair. He was not in a high chair. He was on a throne and he was looking down at these commoners and he was answering the questions that his group probably already handed them. Right? That's what I saw. I saw a walk into everything that they always walk us into before. I'm gonna give a little bit of a summary and then we'll get into it. But I saw all of this getting started up as a part two to the earlier hearing when Twitter was there and Google was there and Facebook was there, and them using this data that was released to take the next step in their plan, which absolutely has nothing to do with any of the damn data that went out. Nothing. Absolutely not. All it, so first of all, let me explain. I'm gonna explain something. So I've written Facebook apps. I've been in there. I know I'm a bit of a geek and nerd. I know I take my pocket protector off and my thick glasses. But I've written a series of Facebook apps. How this works is that when you write an app, you write into the app the level of data that you will need to do the things that you need to do. Facebook allows you to do that. When people sign up to your app, they say, yes, you can have this data, and this data. And if you say you can't have any of the data that I need for my app, then it means that you can't sign up for my app, or you won't have full functionality of it. So there was no crime that was committed. None. There was a problem that occurred. There was a problem because there was a hole in how they do it. And so I'm only supposed to have your data. But if my app is of a content that I need to see your friends' pictures or something, because I want to do something with their pictures, then I need to be able to see your friends' pictures, right? And so that's where the data was exploited. So a company, Cambridge Analytica, that didn't even have an account for doing this, actually bought the data from somewhere else. That's where the problem is. That's between Facebook and them. This had nothing to do with Congress, had nothing to do with you, has nothing to do with anybody else. When we sign up to these places, we don't even read the end user agreements. So let's be honest about one thing first. Raise your hand if you read the Facebook end user agreement. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Go ahead, raise your hand. Come on, everybody's all so outraged. We upset. They got my data, man. They got my data. They ran on, put a gun to my head, grabbed my data and ran. Raise your hand. Did you read the end user agreement? Where Ty at? Where Ty? Somebody get Ty. Did you do your homework? Did you do your research? Did you read the end user agreement? No, because we ain't got no time for that. Our friends on Facebook, we want to be on Facebook. Our family on Facebook, we want to be on Facebook, and we don't care. Can we, first of all, can we like end the selective outrage? Let's go back to not caring. All right. I don't care. My whole profile is public. I don't care. Why don't I care? I'm a grown man. Why do I care what you know about me? Why would I care? Oh, because you're going to show me some ads and you're going to make me vote for a different president. Listen here. If you were dumb, all right, I can't start off on that. That's a tough word. If you are fragile enough that you would change your vote for the leader of the world who has nuclear weapons based on some ads shown to you, you shouldn't be voting. You are not, you're not voting material. I'm sorry. Hey, you get, the Constitution was right. You were born here. But if some ads, whether they come from Russia, your retarded brother-in-law, or some dummy down the street, if they actually can show you ads and get you to change for who has the nuclear weapons buttons, you shouldn't be voting. You shouldn't even have a job. Damn it, you shouldn't be driving a car. You should be in your house playing with your lips or something and sitting in a high chair. There's something wrong with you. So I don't care nothing about data. I don't think any of this had anything to do with the data. They used that as an excuse to have the hearing. Why? Because it was a dog and pony show. It was a dog and pony show for the monkeys. Who the monkeys? We the monkeys. We the monkeys in the colony. They wanted to make it look like our government is in control. They wanted to make it look like our government is going to do the right thing and come down on the billionaires. Does that actually make any damn sense to anybody who's ever read a book after 1902? Our government is run by these billionaires. Mark Zuckerberg, first of all, could replace everybody in a Congress seat in that hearing. He could replace all of them tomorrow. Done. It could be over with. So the idea that they were coming down on him for your privacy, do you know how dumb that even sounds? Say it out loud. Can somebody say it out loud? The people behind the NSA are going to come down on the billionaires for taking our private data. Meanwhile, your panty size, your underwear size, everything that you just don't want, all your nasty pictures, everything you send on email, text, whatever, all your kids, everybody else, are all being stored in the NSA database by the people who were grilling him for privacy. Does that make any sense to anybody? No. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully your brain works on a level where you understand that that did not happen. It ain't happening. That didn't happen. Those people don't give a damn about you or your privacy. Those people are paid to answer to people like Mark Zuckerberg. And that's exactly what they do. So I think, and I'm gonna give my last little piece of the summary, and we'll listen to some of the answers, some of the questions. But if you listen to his final statements, it explained why the whole thing was a dog and pony show. outside of the fact that he wasn't scared. He didn't sniffle once. He talked to them like they were slaves. As a matter of fact, I forgot who asked him the question. Said, well, can you look at these pictures and tell us, have you seen these ads when the Russians did it? And Russia, 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 Russia. And what are you going to do about it? And he said, well, you know what? He didn't say this, but this is how I interpret it. I think what he said, I won't do it, but I'll let my staff get back to you. What do I think? Actually, what he really said is, listen, slave, hold on. I don't know if I approve that question. So first of all, I don't answer to you. I won't be sending you anything. I don't have time for that. I got resorts to go to. I got colonies to buy. I have people to purchase who are bigger than you, who tell you what to do. I am not going to respond to you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have one of my people that are still higher than you respond to you, Senator. He was in control of the whole thing. He shut the whole thing down. But like I said, I don't live in a world where Congress and senators tell billionaires what to do. In the world I live in, they tell them, which is what I saw, which is why at the end, his statements were basically, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong. If I go down the wrong street, y'all tell me if I'm wrong. But in the end, what did he say? He said, I apologize. We did not have enough broad control. We did not shut down on privacy. He didn't say that, not yet. The first thing, what he say? He said, we did not shut down on fake news. We did not shut down on hate. We did not shut down on the Russia controlling the political direction of whatever. And at the very end of all of that, he said, yeah, and we didn't kind of sort of protect privacy a little bit, kind of. What's privacy again? So it had nothing to do with privacy. This was a walk into getting slaves in the colony to buy in to more censorship, to get them to buy into more control, to get them to buy in truth ministry. So we'll go through some of the questions, but I don't see what anybody else saw. I don't see that they were stepping in to help you. I see that they were doing what the same narrative has been: anti-Russia, pro-censorship, control the minions in the colony, and get the slaves in the colony to cheer for more control of them, which is what it was all about. They got into regulation. They talked about, should we be regulating social media? Should we write a law? And if you're smart enough to know what's happening in the world and in your country, you'll realize that we don't need any more laws. They need to delete 99% of the laws that are actually out there. So let's kind of get into it. I'm off and ran. That's kind of my summary of it. So we'll watch some and let them answer some questions. These were the important questions. I'm definitely not going through all of it, but here are the important questions, things I thought were interesting.
We face a number of important issues around privacy, safety, and democracy. And you will rightfully have some hard questions for me to answer.
No, they won't.
Before I talk about the steps we're taking to address them, I want to talk about how we got here. Facebook is an idealistic and optimistic company. For most of our existence, we focused on all of the good that connecting people can do. And as Facebook has grown, people everywhere have gotten a powerful new tool for staying connected to the people they love,
True.
for making their voices heard, and for building communities and businesses.
For the most part.
Just recently, we've seen the Me Too movement and the March for Our Lives organized, at least in part, on Facebook. After Hurricane Harvey, people came together to raise more than $20 million for relief. And more than 70 million small businesses use Facebook to create jobs and grow. But it's clear now that we didn't do enough to prevent these tools from being used for harm as well. And that goes for fake news, for foreign interference in elections, and hate speech, as well as developers and data privacy.
Did you get that? You thought I made that part up? No, I didn't make that part up. The whole purpose of the hearing was about privacy and some data got out. But the whole intent, he said, we didn't do a good enough job on was hate speech, censorship, and Russia. That's what this is about. This is about writing laws and regulating social media. That's what this is about. It's about censoring you. Data's on the back end. That's what y'all whining about data. This has nothing to do with data.
A broad enough view of our responsibility, and that was a big mistake. And it was my mistake, and I'm sorry. I started Facebook, I run it, and I'm responsible for what happens here.
And I sold all my stock because I'm getting out of it because all of this is BS. The CIA has taken it over. It is a surveillance device. They will be using it for monitoring and tracking people. They push me out. I have absolutely nothing to do with what's going to happen next to it. And so all the rest of this is just about getting people to cheer because it looks like our government is shutting down on a monopoly and going to bring in some new law and regulation to regulate the damn colony and the slaves in it.
After more than a decade of promises to do better, how is today's apology different? And why should we trust Facebook to make the necessary changes to ensure user privacy and give people a clearer picture of your privacy policies?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we have made a lot of mistakes in running the company. I think it's pretty much impossible, I believe, to start a company in your dorm room and then grow it to be at the scale that we're at now without making some mistakes. And because our service is about helping people connect and information, those mistakes have been different in how we try not to make the same mistake multiple times, but in general, a lot of the mistakes are around how people connect to each other just because of the nature of the service. Overall, I would say that we're going through a broader philosophical shift in how we approach our responsibility as a company. For the first 10 or 12 years of the company, I viewed our responsibility as primarily building tools that if we could put those tools in people's hands, then that would empower people to do good things. What I think we've learned now across a number of issues, not just data privacy, but also fake news and foreign interference in elections, is that—
Did y'all hear that? Fake news and foreign interference in elections. So, you know, so I'm gonna go back to my previous video where we talked about the hearing from a couple months ago. Facebook was the only one who got Facebook got a B from me. They kind of got a B because they stood up for censorship to a degree. This is them completely backing down. This is where they've totally given up that we need to take a broader control of the monkeys. The monkeys, they're talking about whatever they want, and we need to shut that down. And now the monkeys are cheering it. And so that is what this is about. He said it again. It's like a repetitive thing. They say it over and over and over. And eventually you start to question, yeah, did Russia interfere? Facebook made it very clear back in the previous hearing. So did Twitter and Google. Russia had no significant influence in the election at all, at all. So why did they keep saying it? Because when the monkeys keep hearing it, eventually some of the monkeys start believing, oh yeah, I guess they did. Yeah, I mean, you go from, no, Russia had no interference. And after you hear it a couple thousand times, you're like, yeah, Russia kind of has some interference. After you hear it a couple million times, yeah, Russia interfered. We need to stop that. Meanwhile, well, all right, we're not gonna get into the election. I'm not gonna do that, but let's keep going. I want to
take a more proactive role and a broader view of our responsibility. It's not enough to just build tools. We need to make sure that they're used for good. And that means that we need to now take a more active view in policing the ecosystem, and in watching and kind of looking out and making sure that all of the members in our community are using these tools in a way that's going to be good and healthy. So at the end of the day, this is going to be something where people will measure us by our results on this. It's not that I expect that anything I say here today to necessarily change people's view, but I'm committed to getting this right. And I believe that over the coming years, once we fully work all these solutions through, people will see real differences.
So for the next question, I'm gonna say something else. Clemencia said something. She hit it. Thank you, sister. That was the other part of it. The other part of it was to normalize AI. He said AI in this hearing. So many times I almost vomited on myself. AI, we're gonna get AI. AI is gonna AI. And this is the same thing we talked about with Will Smith and the AI little, oh, let's go for a date, AI. Ooh, can I stick my thing in you? You know. And comment in the commercial, AI is going to save the world. What will you do with it? Same thing. They're walking people into believing AI is a good thing. I'm not saying AI is a bad thing, but they're walking people into giving consent that, yeah, AI is going to help us. AI is going to help us with the Russian censor. AI is going to help us with hate speech. AI is going to help us. So AI is a good thing. AI is not a bad thing. AI is a good thing. But he said it so many times, and that was another what this was. This had nothing to do with data nor privacy. Thank you, Clemencia. Right on point.
Facebook's been served with subpoenas from the special counsel Mueller's office. Is that correct?
Yes.
Have you or anyone at Facebook been interviewed by the special counsel's office?
Yes.
Have you been interviewed?
I have not. I have not.
Others have.
I believe so, and I want to be careful here because that Our work with the special counsel is confidential, and I want to make sure that in an open session, I'm not revealing something that's confidential.
I'm gonna stop there for a second. Our work with the special counsel is confidential, classified, top secrets, and not for the monkeys to know, and not for some of you monkeys to know, because you got senator and Congress badge, but you're not allowed to know this level of data that we're sharing with them. What is this about? This is what it's always about. Going back to Yahoo, Google, InfoSeek, AltaVista, all the rest of them. When they started shutting down on this, it's not Facebook that's the problem. It's not Google that's the problem. It's not Twitter. They keep getting people attacking the mid-tier slaves to a degree. They're slaves to this system as well. There is a deep state and a cabal that run them that require they give them the data, require that they use these platforms as surveillance devices. And this is where he's telling you, I sold my stock. I'm getting the hell out of here. I was not subpoenaed. Maybe some of my people were subpoenaed, but I'm getting the hell out of here. I don't run this. I don't control this anymore. This is all owned by the deep state. Why are they subpoenaing? Because they're getting the data about you for them. The same whole purpose that you were upset about this, he just put it right out in front of you like it's no big deal. Oh yeah, we get more data because we all been getting more data because it's our ability to get the data. We get it from the cell phone carriers too. We get it from Sprint and all the rest of the carriers. We get it from the cable companies. We get all this data, and then you're mad at Mark Zuckerberg, you're mad at Facebook because they're the newspaper you got hit with, but you're ignoring the fact that there's a man holding that newspaper. But I found that interesting.
Confidential.
I understand. That's why I made clear that you have been contacted, you have had subpoenas.
Actually, let me clarify that. I actually am not aware of a subpoena. I believe that there may be, but I know we're working with them.
Thank you.
Your chief operating officer, Ms. Sandberg, suggested on the NBC Today show that Facebook users who do not want their personal information used for advertising might have to pay for that protection, pay for it. Are you actually considering having Facebook users pay for you not to use that information?
I'm not even going to let him answer that question. It's a stupid question to begin with. Dumb question. I know everyone's get these little ads and the little messages. Oh, Facebook's going to cost money. They're raising the price. Sign this petition, whatever. First of all, this is a private company. It is their ability to do whatever they want to do. YouTube does it, right? Because you got YouTube Red. You see all these ads and you can pay to not see the ads. All the companies do that. Eventually, Facebook will do it. To me, it was a waste of breath, oxygen, time, and uselessness to actually ask a question about an industry standard. It is this company's model to make money on selling ads. And if you don't want the ads, you're going to have to pay them to not see the ads. If you don't want them sharing your data, yeah, eventually you're probably going to have to pay for them not to share the data. Stupid question, don't care about that. Let me move fast forward a little bit. I don't like stupid questions.
Ads. We think offering an ad-supported service is the most aligned with our mission of trying to help connect everyone in the world. Because we want to offer a free service that everyone can. It doesn't feel like that to me.
And he's right. I know what this one is. And he's right. They offer a free service. We don't want to pay for it, right? We're not going to pay a lot for this muffler. You know why? Because it's free, because they get to see the ads. So I don't care that they know that, oh, well, he's between this age and this age. He's bald-headed, got so many kids, whatever, not married, divorced, whatever. We're going to show him ads for this, for dating ads, for nasty chicks on the internet. And I just look at it like, I ain't clicking on that ad. I could care less. And if the price I pay to go and have a relationship and build friends across Facebook is to see some little pretty girl pop up from some sort of a dating app, why do I care? I don't care. Keep it free. So I'm good with that. So, but again, and I think Brother Michael just said it, they need us to think that we need these things, right? But this is where this will go. If Facebook goes off and hires a whole bunch of truth ministry soldiers to shut down and censor you because they don't like certain political things that you have to say, they don't like you being honest and having dialogue with people you disagree with, they're going to go hire a bunch of people and they're going to have to pay for it. How are they going to pay for it? They're going to make Facebook cost. They will make you pay for the ability to not have your third level information, your information sold to third parties. Why in the world does that even matter? To me, it's not nothing. But this was he was answering a question here. Let's go back. I missed this question. This was important. Right here. This is I don't know who this is. Who is this? Mr. Nielsen? Don't even know who Mr. Nielsen is. Don't like him. Stupid question, but he had a good question at the end.
No, Senator. Actually, millions of people.
So, therefore, you consider my personally identifiable data the company's data, not my data. Is that it?
Yes, it's not your data. If you sign up to the website and you say, damn it, I'm going to tell you something. I got ashy feet, I got a hairy back, and my I only got half and one nipple. Okay, if you put that on the internet, it's not your data no more. You put it on their website. You put it in their database. It is now their data. They can do anything they want with it. You know, short of the user agreement. And if you get pissed off at that, your only recourse is either to sue them or go off of the website. This is stupid. And you know what more stupid about this question is? Who is this? Ranking member, Mr. Nielsen. I don't know who he is. I assume he's a congressman or senator. He lives in a nation. If he's not a congressman or senator, he lives in a nation where none of your data is private. They monitor everything. Pull to a stoplight and look up. You will see 8 cameras looking back at you. The idea that you're actually asking a private company who has a constitutional right to do things with private data that people put on their website is stupid. You don't have the constitutional right to put cameras and track all of the people in your country like they're traitors and they're treasonous. That makes them an enemy of the state. That is completely unconstitutional. It breaks the Bill of Rights. So the idea that he's actually asking this question is just dumb. It's retarded and stupid. But anyway, he had another part of the question I thought was interesting.
No, Senator. Actually, at the first line of our terms of service say that you control and own the information and content that you put on Facebook.
You don't think
Right, like the Constitution, right? When you were born, did you sign away consent that yes, you can track me everywhere I go? You can take all my data, my metadata, you can record all my phone calls, you can put tracking devices on my cell phone, you can screw up my laptop computers by carving holes in the backs of every operating system so the CIA can get in there and monitor data. Did you sign a user agreement with the United States that said you do that? No. That's not how this worked. The Constitution was their user agreement. The Constitution told them what they cannot do as a federal government. So this is stupid, but like Brother Michael said before, they need you to think that this is how this works. This is not how this works. This is not how it's supposed to work. Facebook was in the right there. You put the data on there. It's their data. The government is in the wrong, but they're trying to convince you that Big Brother is all powerful and they have the right to give away your data. They have the right to take your data. They have the right to void the Constitution anytime they like or the Bill of Rights. We didn't sign a user agreement. So it's this hypocrisy. It's the same, but you know, it's the same thing with gun rights. It's the same damn thing. Going to the most violent government in the world for a peaceful society. You're going to the most significant violator of the whole world's privacy. The whole world. DHS now they said they have the right to take everybody's data everywhere in the world who's a journalist, right? You're going to the biggest abuser of privacy and you're saying, get Facebook, get them. Give us our privacy back. See, now you sound like a gun controller. Don't be a data controller. Don't be a privacy controller. Don't be a hypocrite. All right, anyway, let me keep on.
Do you have a monopoly?
Do you have a monopoly?
It certainly doesn't feel like that to me.
Here's the question that all...
Okay, now this one made some sense. This one actually made some sense. I'm okay with this question. Do you have a monopoly? Everybody knows the answer to that question. But of course, Zuckerberg, listen, slave, I don't work for you. Listen, I think I might have said y'all could ask me that question, but you know, of course, I don't feel like I got a monopoly. I'm fighting Twitter. I'm fighting Instagram. I'm fighting whatever these new websites all these kids are coming up with. I'm fighting all these people. No, they're not. They got a total monopoly, but it's a good question. But the problem I have with this question, again, I don't like no hypocrisy. So you look at the oil companies, you look at the chemical companies, you look at the pharmaceutical companies. Are any of these companies killing people? Any of them? Monopolies? Yes, they are. They are monopolies. They dominate the industry. The congressmen are used and senators used to write the regulating laws to prevent small companies ever from becoming pharmaceutical, oil, or any of those other companies because they're all overregulated. And so it's a stupid question. It's a stupid question. It's a good question though, because that actually is a role for the federal government. That actually is something finally that they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be preventing monopolies. Facebook is a total monopoly. But you know, as much as they have an obligation to do that, and as much as they have an obligation to do tariffs, we also have an obligation also. If we support the monopoly, you can kind of make a debate. You know, you can kind of debate that a little bit. People still support it. You know, you could go to minds.com, you could go to MeWe, you can go to Reddit and go to all these other websites, but people don't. They stay with Facebook. It actually works really good. People like Facebook, and that's why they're still here. Good, bad, or indifferent, we are supporting the monopoly. When they broke up Ma Bell, people were upset with it. And they know they needed to break it up. But that was back in a time when the federal government kind of sort of worked for the citizens of their own country. Right now, they don't. They work for the billionaires. Anyway, enough on the monopoly. I actually want to get over, let me see if there's anything else in this one. There was something I wanted to get specifically to censorship, and we're getting late on time. So I want to go down to another one. Hold on. We're going to go to Ted Cruz question.
Mr. Zuckerberg, does Facebook consider itself a neutral public forum?
Senator, we consider ourselves to be a platform for all ideas.
Let me ask the question again. Does Facebook consider itself to be a neutral public forum? And representatives of your company have given conflicting answers on this. Are you a First Amendment speaker expressing your views, or are you a neutral public forum allowing everyone to speak?
Senator, here's how we think about this. I don't believe that there is certain content that clearly we do not allow, right? Hate speech, terrorist content, nudity, anything that makes people feel unsafe in the community. From that perspective, that's why we generally try to refer to what we do as a platform for all ideas.
I'm going to correct him on this because he answered the question wrong. I'm going to answer the question for him. Because it doesn't make any sense. So first of all, I see hate speech all the time on Facebook. I see people fighting, cussing each other out, threatening violence all the time on Facebook. I haven't seen the terrorist content, but I've seen all that. I've seen all the things that he says that we're here to try to stop. But what I also see is people who are just having political conversations that are unpopular. I see them getting censored. I see them going to Facebook jail every day. I got friends in Facebook jail all the daggone time. I got friends that got to change the name, try to come back so they can see and meet with their family and make their friends again. I see you shutting down on political conversation. And maybe Zuckerberg doesn't know that. I don't know. Like I said, I don't live in a world where billionaires are concerned with the little commoners. They hire sellouts to do that, right? They hire congressmen and senators and vice presidents and supervisors and managers to take care of the commoners, the little monkeys in the colony. I don't live in a world where billionaires, it's their job to ride yachts. It's their job to make babies. It's their job to have these wild parties and just make decisions at a higher level. I don't think that they get involved with that. So I don't think he even knows. But if you're going to watch this, Mark, I'm going to let you know. They aren't shutting down on any hate speech that I've seen. They aren't shutting down on anything that's violent. Nudity, I get titty ladies all the time, sending pictures, trying to be friends, got boobies all out, all kind of nasty stuff. So I don't even want to see none of that. I get that stuff all the time. But Sister Debbie can't even make a live video right now, okay? I don't put anybody else on black. Got a couple friends in jail, got new profiles with different names. I'm not going to say no names. But I see you shutting down people who are talking about truthful things, who are talking anti-war. I see that all the time. But as far as shutting down on hate, I don't see none of that.
Constraint. It's just a simple question. The predicate for Section 230 immunity under the CDA is that you are a neutral public forum. Do you consider yourself a neutral public forum, or are you engaged in political speech, which is your right under the First Amendment?
Well, Senator, our goal is certainly not to engage in political speech. I'm not that familiar with the specific legal language of the law that you speak to, so I would need to follow up with you on that. I'm just trying to lay out how broadly I think about this.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there because I didn't try to set up. Sister Nikki done said something. Look, Nikki said Nikki's right. Nikki's right. She done seen this part. You did your homework, didn't you, sister? All right, so I'm gonna ask everybody for a moment. I'm gonna ask everybody just for a moment. Come on. Don't be a Republican. Don't be a Democrat. Listen to the next questions that are asked and avoid the issues. Don't be a pro-life or anti-life, or just take your tribe and take your tribe, all your ignorant tribe stuff, roll it up in a box and just put that over here. Just put your ignorance over here just for a minute. Just for you can take it back later. Just put it right here. I want you to focus on the idea that there can be social media platforms that control the minds of 2 billion people that can be partial. Just Just try to be in the middle for a minute. Just try to join the truth community for a moment, and don't take an ignorant position, and just listen to the questions he's about to ask. I actually appreciate Cruz in this. I'm not much for Cruz at all, but I appreciate this line of questioning, because remember this. Always remember this. Anytime you give someone the power to oppress somebody else, it's only a matter of time before it comes back to oppress you. Those chickens always come home to roost. So listen to the next line, something like that. Next line of questionings.
I will say there are a great many Americans who I think are deeply concerned that Facebook and other tech companies are engaged in a pervasive pattern of bias and political censorship. There have been numerous instances with Facebook. In May of 2016, Gizmodo reported that Facebook had purposely and routinely suppressed conservative stories from trending news, including stories about CPAC, including stories about Mitt Romney, including stories about the Lois Lerner IRS scandal, including stories about Glenn Beck. In addition to that, Facebook has initially shut down the Chick-fil-A Appreciation Day page, has blocked a post of a Fox News reporter, has blocked over 24 Catholic pages, and most recently blocked Trump supporters Diamond and Silk's page with 1.2 million Facebook followers after determining their content and brand were, quote, unsafe to the community. To a great many Americans, that appears to be a pervasive pattern of political bias. Do you agree with that assessment?
Senator, let me say a few things about this. First, I understand where that concern is coming from, because Facebook and the tech industry are located in Silicon Valley, which is an extremely left-leaning place. And this is actually a concern that I have and that I try to root out in the company, is making sure that we don't have any bias in the work that we do. And I think it is a fair concern that that people would at least wonder about.
Let me ask this
now,
question.
Oh, he's about to nail him, but hold on. I'm jumping a little defense here for a minute. I believe Mark on that answer. I do. Again, I don't live in a world where billionaires are worried about what you little monkeys are doing. I live in a world where they just want to make more billions of dollars. Controversy sells. I think Mark likes Diamond and Silk. I didn't know that. Y'all know they like Diamond and Silk. I didn't know that. They crazy as all hell. They are. I remember during the election, I don't follow them, but I remember during the election, they posted a few videos, made me laugh real hard. They said a lot of stuff that's real true. They expose a lot of the corruption and the lies and the contradiction and hypocrisy of the other side. You know, but it's important. I need a Diamond and Silk on that side, and I need a Diamond and Silk on the other side. People who cross the lines that your indoctrination tell you that they're not supposed to be crossed, and they tell because it allows me to land in the center. And that's what I love. Intellectual controversy. I love people who highlight hypocrisy. I love people who talk about the crime bill. I love that. So I didn't know Diamond Silk was blocked, but it's important to have two sides of the issues. But I don't think Mark knows anything about this. I don't think Mark cares anything about. We don't live in the same world that they do, right? He is a billionaire. He does not care about our monkey issues. Diamond and Silk are monkeys to him. I'm a monkey. You're a monkey. Wouldn't you like to be a monkey too? That was a commercial from the 80s. But anyway, so I believe his answer. But now listen, take off your hat. I know you heard the word conservative. I know you're all discombobulated, getting all warm on the inside. But just listen to all of the sites that were blocked, all of the conversations that were blocked, to allow people to not come to a moderate decision and listen to both intellectual sides of these discussions. He asked the next line of question.
Are you aware of any ad or page that has been taken down from Planned Parenthood?
Senator, I'm not, but let me just...
How about MoveOn.org?
Sorry?
How about MoveOn.org?
I'm not specifically aware of those.
How about any Democratic candidate for office?
I'm not specifically aware. I mean, I'm not sure.
He just got a whole bunch of people in trouble. What I just saw happen there is a billionaire who runs a $1 billion company thinking that did the monkeys I hire come down on some of the monkeys and not the other monkeys? Did the managers I hire and the supervisors who live in those very strong liberal strongholds within Silicon Valley actually shut down on the voices of dissent, which lost me some money because if I have Diamond and Silk fighting with, who's on the other side? Bill Maher or somebody, it actually makes me a lot more money when they fight than when you silence them. Somebody has been using Facebook for a political tool. No question about that. And they about to get in a whole lot of trouble. Somebody who follows Diamond and Silk, because I don't, let me know. I thought I used to. I wasn't sure. I'd never seen anything from them in a while. And now I know why, because they shut them off. I want to see if their page comes back. I think somebody's getting in trouble over this. I don't think he actually knew this.
In your testimony, you say that you have 15 to 20,000 people working on security and content review. Do you know the political orientation of those 15 to 20,000 people engaged in content review?
No, Senator. We do not generally ask people about their political orientation when they're joining the company.
So as CEO, have you ever made hiring or firing decisions based on political positions or what candidates they supported?
No.
Why was Palmer Luckey fired?
That is a specific personnel matter that seems like it would be inappropriate to
You just
speak
made
to
a
here.
specific representation that you didn't make decisions based on political views.
Well,
Is that accurate?
I can commit that it was not because of a political view.
Do you know of those 15 to 20,000 people engaged in content review, how many, if any, have ever supported financially a Republican candidate for office?
Senator, I do not know that.
Your testimony says it is not enough that we just connect people. We have to make sure those connections are positive. It says we have to make sure people aren't using their voice to hurt people or spread misinformation. We have a responsibility not just to build tools, to make sure those tools are used for good. Mr. Zuckerberg, do you feel it's your responsibility to assess users whether they are good and positive connections or ones that those 15 to 20,000 people deem unacceptable or deplorable?
Senator, you're asking about me personally?
Facebook.
Senator, I think that there are a number of things that we would all agree are clearly bad. Foreign interference in our elections, terrorism, self-harm.
I'm
Those
talking
are
about
things.
censorship.
Well, I think that you would probably agree that we should remove terrorist propaganda from the service. So that, I agree, I think is clearly bad activity that we want to get down, and we're generally proud of how well we do at that. Now, what I can say, and I do want to get this in before the end here, is that I'm very committed to making sure that Facebook is a platform for all ideas. That is a very important founding principle of what we do. We're proud of the discourse and the different ideas that people can share on the service. And that is something that, as long as I'm running the company, I'm going to be committed to making sure is the case.
All right, I'm gonna go to another place. So now take your ignorance, take your little ignorance, your little partial topic, indoctrinated ignorance. You put it back on. You put it back in. Put it back in. So to be fair, to be very fair on that, I mean, he hit him from a Republican side, and the reality is, I have friends on both sides who've been shut down. But in my perspective and what I've seen, they did come down harder on the right side than on the left side. And I don't think it was because Facebook as a company has a model. I think just where it is located and the people they tend to hire tend to be a little more liberal. So I think the reviewers were more left-leaning than more left-leaning than right. But it happened on both sides. They shut things down on both sides. But I don't think Mark knew that. I don't think. And I'll keep going. I'm going to get into something else. He said something else. And so, well, not he, but what was important is that has this been done? Because people I know, they'll sit back and like the whole Russian racism, like the whole angst, the reason the angst is there is because some silly people think that Hillary Clinton would run the country any different than Donald Trump. That's why. Let's just be purely honest, because they actually feel that intellectuals voted for one or the other because of something that went out on social media, which is completely illogical, nonsensical. There's no data or facts behind it. It's just stupid. But has this happened before in history? Let's go to this question.
How does pods?
Not that question. I don't care nothing about that. I'm not buying it. Whatever it is, I don't care. All right, here you go.
To the Cambridge Analytica issue. I actually think that we need to fully examine what Cambridge Analytica did. They either broke a kind of code of conduct. If they broke any other rules or agreements with you all, I hope that they suffer the consequences. But I think that timeline needs to be updated. And it really needs to go back. I've read a series of 3 articles that were published in the MIT Technology Review back in 2012. And it talks about how proud the Obama campaign was of exploiting data on Facebook in the 2012 campaign. In fact, somebody asked you earlier if it made you mad about what Cambridge Analytica did, and you rightfully answered yes. But I think you should probably be equally mad when a former campaign director of the Obama campaign proudly tweeted, "Facebook was surprised we were able to suck out the whole social graph. But they didn't stop us once they realized that was what we were doing." So you clearly had some people in your employ that apparently knew it. At least that's what this person said on Twitter, and thank goodness for way back and some of the other history grabber machines. I'm sure we can get this tweet back and get it in the right context. I think when you do your research, it's important to get the whole view. I've worked in data analytics practice for a good part of my career. And for anybody to pretend that Cambridge Analytica was the first person to exploit data clearly doesn't work or hasn't worked in the data analytics field. So when
All right, so I'm gonna stop there. I don't care how you answer. You don't need to hear that. Plus, I'm gonna look at some of the comments anyway. Bottom line is, yes, Obama did it too. So let's stop. Let's let's be honest. This is the truth area. I don't care nothing about people lying about stuff. We need to talk about the truth around the colonies. I'm not gonna go any more into that. Let me go on over to the colonies. Let me go over to the slave ship. Nope, that's not it. Right there. Let's get over to the colonizing ship so we can talk about some of this. Look at the comments. Yes, the only reason you had Obama as a president is because of social media. There was a grassroots movement. They utilized the data from Facebook and other sites to actually do the same damn thing Cambridge Analytica did for the Trump campaign. And that's why, part of why, possibly why Trump was able to win. They used a lot of the data to possibly target people for ads. If they, I don't know. If you had somebody on the fence, maybe you could sway them or something. But the question is, has this ever been done before? Yes, it has. Why is it an issue now? Because it's stupid. To me, it's stupid. I don't really care about it. I like it. I like fake news. I like stupid people. I like people who lie. It's important to me. Because it helps me to identify who's lying. I don't need, nor do I want Big Brother to come in with the truth ministry and tell me what's true and not true. I don't care what they think is true and not true. I want to listen to somebody. Because you know, another side of it too is that behind every lie, behind all fake news, well, within it usually is a degree of the truth that's unpopular. And there's always an intent for why they do it. And there's always some truth in why they do it anyway. We don't need Big Brother involved in here anymore. They convince us that they need us because of hearings like that. This is all about what it's always about, controlling the colony by getting people in the colony to agree the colony needs more rules, by getting people who live on the plantation to cheer for one side of plantation rule instead of maybe there shouldn't be a plantation. All right, let me go down and see some of the comments because that's the whole thing I saw, and that's my whole summary from this entire thing. It was orchestrated. It was animated. It was reality TV. The billionaire went in there, but prior to him going in there from the billionaire class, they told the little monkeys that they get to run the colony what questions they could ask. But the agenda was, and the agenda came out very clear. It was AI, it was Russia did it, it was censorship and truth ministry. And you got people just doing like this because the monkeys on the plantation, they just happy. Oh yeah, we got them. We got those billionaires. Controlled opposition. They control both sides. They always do because we fall for it. That's my sense. Now look at some of the comments. That's what I believe. Stop it. I told you, put your indoctrination ignorance down. We don't do that here. You can have a good discussion, but all right. Yeah. Oh, you missed it, Mike? Yeah, well, Mike, that's why I did. I wanted to do a quick summary, the things I thought were important. I try to watch the whole thing and I think about it and I listen to what everybody has to say and I'll kind of make my assessment that best I can from the middle and the things that I know. And from what I can see is they're just basically still utilizing, it's disaster capitalism. That's actually what this is. Let me say, it's disaster capitalism. A disaster happened, data went out. Nobody got hurt, and even Mark Zuckerberg's data got out too, which is why I'm saying he's just a billionaire and from on high looking down, and he just lost control of his people, and they've been censoring and up the stuff, and now maybe he'll shut down on it. Maybe Debbie can post a video again soon. Maybe Diamond and Silk can come back. Maybe some of my Facebook friends might come out of jail if he comes down on his people. But the thing to cheer is freedom of speech. It's not a thing to cheer that we need more laws and legislation, because that's what this is about. And I forgot who said it, was it Reed or somebody who was talking about, well, do you feel we need more legislation? I didn't show that clip, you know, and Mark was very clear. No, we don't need more legislation. We don't need more regulation, because if you actually do that, it means that kids in dorm rooms right now can't create another Facebook, you know, because that's how they do it. This is how you take an industry that's got thousands of competition, and you make 5 companies, right? Is they over-regulate it, and once they over-regulate it, then little kids like the little Mark Zuckerberg, there's a Mark Zuckerberg right now, he in college right now, got a great idea, and he's coming up with his little social media that's gonna blow Facebook away, blow them away, bring us all together, free speech and everything. But he won't be able to do it because you're cheering that the government get involved in something that they have no constitutional right to ever be involved in, right? Because you're angry at Mark because he's a billionaire, and Facebook because your friend's in jail like my friend's in jail. But they're using your selective outrage and your anger to erode more of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights so they can get involved in something that they have no place. They have no place in private business at all. You know, if we're sick of Facebook, we need to walk away from Facebook. But as far as how they run their company and their model, we have no say in that. It is their cafe. It's not our cafe. They can do whatever they want. If they want to call it liberal book, they can do that. If they want to call it right book, they can do that. That's up to them. And if we stay, we're the fools. You know, so that's on us. I saw something different. I didn't see what y'all saw. Not everybody. I think some other people saw it too. I just saw reality TV. Y'all ever watch that drag queen show? I watched the drag queen. I just saw it. Just they're making it up as you go, and it's entertaining, and it gets people to support things they shouldn't support. These old farts can't believe. These old farts can't believe that they are electable. Maureen. Yeah, I can't believe they're electable. I doubt some of them even know how to spell Facebook. It's just silly. So speaking of that, Maureen, I don't know who he was. He was one of the congressmen, a senator, somebody. I put them all together. Colonizer, ruler, whatever. Lackey way down on the chain that writes laws for us. He came in there, and he one of his first points was, I went on Facebook a week ago, and somebody took my face and put it next to somebody else's family, and I didn't think it was funny. He kind of said something like that. I thought it was hilarious. I thought that's funny to me, taking a congressman's face and putting it with another family, somebody else's kids, and building a profile of it. I think that's hilarious. I don't think any of this needs to be censored. I think it's great. When people laugh, good things happen. You don't want Facebook to be a true media tool and a true political tool where they're regulating what happens from a political perspective. You want it to be free speech, you know? So, but anyway, I need to see that. I'm sorry. I think it's funny. I want to see Obama's face with Ted Cruz's wife and his kids. I want to see Trump's face with Obama and Michelle Obama. I think it's funny because it pisses off people who take themselves way too damn serious. Politicians are one of them. Their voters are another. None of this should be taken so seriously. I think we need to laugh a lot more at this. And I think we need to stop with it. I think this has gone too far. I do. And it's all utilized against us. I have free ad block on YouTube. Wilhelmina, I have free ad block on YouTube. Yeah, right. And so, but that's just the model. Like they're just businesses, and they make a bad decision. We're supposed to fall away, fall into another site because a little kid is actually making a Facebook, and that's how it works. So it's a good thing. I don't, let business do what it does. Keep government out of business. This is how we got in this mess anyway, is putting business and government together. You need to keep them separate. Let me see. NSA may be storing Facebook data, not Facebook servers. Yes, Maureen, we know NSA is storing Facebook data. But you read, you understand this. You understand that all of our data is sitting somewhere on big servers. You know, it's funny. Maureen, when I first went to college, I sat there and listened to a professor explain to me he used to be a contractor for AT&T, and he worked underneath Quantico, Virginia, the base down in Quantico, Virginia. He said they had a mile worth of mainframes where they were recording every single phone call in America going back into the early 80s, perhaps before he got involved into the 70s. They've been lying to you the whole time. They have all your data, they have all your pictures. The people who hate privacy the most, the federal government, can't regulate privacy. They shouldn't be involved in it at all, and they shouldn't have any secrets. And we would know actually what was going on if they didn't have any secrets. We, the Facebook users, are such hypocrites to attack Facebook concerning them selling our data and not fight against these institutions that gather the data in secret and without letting us know, like the NSA, the CIA, etc. Brother Thomas, thank you. You read too. Say that, you know what? This is why I think, this is where my hope comes from. My hope comes from there are a lot of people who are really paying attention, and they're really going down to the root cause of this. They're no longer falling into the mid-tier. Blame Facebook. Blame the police. Blame the mid-tier things, because it's always an act of perpetuation. If they can get you dumb enough to blame the people who aren't causing the problem, to not go down to the root cause to fix. When you go down to the root cause of a problem, you fix it, you fix multiple problems. You probably didn't even know were there. These are just the problems we know are there. We have to go to the root. So spot on, Brother Thomas. Absolutely, totally agree. Why isn't Facebook raiding Mark Zuckerberg? All of his attorney and his computers and files. Oh, no, not Facebook. Why isn't the FBI raiding Mark Zuckerberg? Tamara, I don't think they have to. I think, all right, I'm gonna tell you my conspiracy side, Tamara. I think that they have all of our data. I don't think they have all of his data. I believe that they don't go anywhere near billionaires' data. I think that the politicians who write the laws don't know anything really about what the deep state is doing. I think the deep state, the FBI, the CIA, the Spence Knots and the MI6 and all of them, they do what the hell they want. And their governments have no say in what they do. Maybe the Spence Knots, I don't know, or KGB might be a little different. Maybe Russia has a little more say, you know, because the Russian oligarchs and how they run things with Putin and whatever. But as far as in this country, they don't mess with billionaires. Billionaires run them. If they actually store billionaires' data, a billionaire who's not out of popularity and like fighting like Qatar or something with or United Arab Emirates, which one is being blacklisted or banned or something? I forgot which one of them. So I think they have their fights between each other, but that data, their data is not stored. It's our data that's stored. So I don't think the FBI, Tamara, in my view, they're not here for us. Maybe when they first got created, they shut down on the bikers, the gangs across the United States, and we thank the FBI for that. They were some really dangerous dudes, but they did it under unconstitutional precepts, right? They did it with the war on drugs, and they stopped a lot of violence, but then they still walked us into this belief that the war on drugs is good. And so now we cheer the FBI, but their support for the war on drugs instead of their support for the United States citizens and the Constitution is why no lives matter. And that's why the prisons are full of people. So I don't like the contradictions and stuff, but in general, the FBI could care less about the billionaires because they know who they work for and they go after easy targets. They're kind of like whoever buys the U.S. military. They'll send them after Syria. They'll send them after Iraq. They'll send them after Afghanistan. They'll send them after a country that's got elephants and spears, but they will never take on a real threat. The deep state will not take on billionaires because the billionaires actually tell the politicians what to do, and their job is to convince us that they're actually in control when they're not. Because if we keep voting and we keep cheering or hating these politicians who are not in control, then the people who really run things can get away with holy murder, which is what they do and which is what they're about to do in Syria all over again. They are all working in a corrupt circle. Yes, Tamara, absolutely are. They are all on the same team. Absolutely, we are not. We're on our own team and we're fighting each other like dummies. But not bad ideas. The truth should make us feel unsafe and as a catalyst for change. Yes, the truth does make us, it does make us feel unsafe because we're not safe. So thank you, Jennifer. Absolutely. We need to feel unsafe. We need to know the truth. We need to know that our children are in imminent danger from these morons who run the world, who own all the politicians, both sides control opposition. We need to know how bad it is. And that's why I like the truth. That's why in terms of debates, when people debate arguments back and forth, whether it's gender rights or the lifer debate or whatever, I want to see both sides of the argument so I can form a logical opinion, one that I think makes sense. But I also believe in self-determination, and I believe with leaving people alone. And so usually that's where I land on everything. It's like, as an example, I'm gonna say something that's unpopular, but that's okay. I don't care. I'm gonna tell you what I really believe. You tell me if I'm crazy, but I believe in self-determination. I believe the people of Catalonia can fall away from Spain if they want to. I think that's their right. I think Texas, if they want to get out of America, or Boston, if they want to secede, I think they should be allowed to. I believe in self-determination. It's not my job to tell you what to do in the area you live. I don't believe in these borders and the 1% colonies that people are supposed to stick to. I said all that to say this. I think Syria is wrong. I think Assad is wrong. But that does not make America right. That's what I believe. America uses violence to solve problems. And that's a mistake. You never want to use violence to solve a discussion. That's your last option. America makes it the first option. I believe that East Ghouta should be free. I believe that if those people get together and say they don't want to have anything to do with Syria, they should be allowed to do that. I believe, where did this start? In Buda? I forgot the name of the city, where the people stood up and said, damn, we don't want to be a part of Syria no more. I believe in self-determination. And that's why I view everything from a colonizer perspective. I think that people need to be able to live their lives free. I don't believe in the colonizer's borders. I don't believe in that world. I believe you as a farmer should be able to go do what you want to do with your life. I don't think that you should be subject to colonizer rule. And that's what I talk about when I talk about the colonizer mindset. They've trained and indoctrinated a lot of people to believe that it's okay to tell other people how to live their own lives. That's what I'm always against. And the only way I came to that kind of conclusion and decision is I always look at all sides of every debate, and then I form an opinion. Who is telling who else what to do with their genitals? Who is telling who else what to do with their body? Who is telling who else what to do with their guns? Who is telling who else what? And that's where I always stop. Daycare laws, y'all. Daycare rules. Daycare, you got your space. You got the blocks. You're playing with them. It's your right to keep playing with them. Nobody else can come in, take your blocks, fight with you. You got the blocks. Keep playing with the blocks. We need to go back to daycare rules. Daycare rules of self-determination. That's why I think daycare providers should rule the world. I do believe that. Silk and Diamond are famous. I love them. It's about time that Zuck got called to the carpet on censoring them. Wonderful and brilliant ideas. Yes, Joanne, I agree with you. I like a lot of what they say too. I think they're funny. I don't always agree with them, but I think they're kind of, I think that they're kind of playing some games, and they're building a business. And I don't think their business model should be shut down because they're unpopular with some people. As long as they're not talking violence and doing what the government always does, then I think they should be left alone. And so hopefully they come back. Now, I'm not sure I'll follow them. I think they're funny, and I'll watch some of their videos, but I think we need the opposition, but we always need opposition. You're spot on. Oppression, that's the key word. Absolutely, oppression. They get people who were oppressed happy to oppress other people, Sandy, and that's got to stop. We have to grow up. Lovely political theater. Yes, Shane, you're with me, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it. It was political theater, and people actually believe it, and they're like really getting into it, and I'm of a school. I'm just like, really? Like, people actually, but this is reality TV. They're pulling each other's wigs and stuff, and that is not how the world works. Billionaires don't get called to the king, to the king's court, when you know that billionaires run the kings, right? He paints protection broadly in attempt to censor. Yes, Jennifer, and that's the scariest thing he said. He said that we haven't been operating broad enough, but this is the control aspect, right? Now they will go broader. Now, do I think that they'll free up some of the censorship and Diamond and Silk page will come back or whatever? They'll let some people out of Facebook jail. Maybe, possibly. I don't think that he liked the negative press probably that came from some of that. I don't know if Cruz got the message. I don't know. Was Cruz a part of the billionaires line of questioning? I don't know. You have a few rogues in government. They're not many. It's probably like 1% of them. Might be like a Ron Paul. Every now and then a president might say something, and there are a few that just don't play games. Rand Paul might be another one. I think Nina Turner used to be one, but she gave up. And I think Bernie probably was one, and he eventually gave up or something, or They were always a part of it. I don't know. But every now and then someone, a politician, will do or say something real. I think what Cruz asked was real. And I think if you really think about it from a logical perspective, you don't want social media determining what you can and can't say. And I don't think they do either. I don't think they do. I personally, like I said, I'm not making excuse for Zuckerberg, but I don't think he cares. I think he wants to make money and go live his life and have 22,000 mansions. That's what I think. And go to space with the other dude and party with Jeff Bezos. I think that's what they want to do. But that's not because he made his money. And that's how that billionaire makes his money. But his billionaire class, they make their money from changing how people think, right? They make their money from the oil industry. They make their money from wars. They make their money from synthetic drugs and vaccines and toxins that people put on their yards. And so those billionaires will come down on this billionaire and say, nah, brother, we got to control the monkeys. We got to control, and your platform is how so you can keep making money through selling your ads, but you're going to allow us to control how the monkeys think, keep the monkeys fighting so we can keep making money from all the monkeys. That's how I think it works. Hey, Donna, how you doing? Cruz is empathizing religious versus marginalized people, groups bias, total left-leaning, Silicon Valley. I don't think that's a net neutrality issue either. Oh my gosh, Cruz just asked Mark Zuckerberg whether any dim sites were ever shut down. Judy, yeah, I'm not a Cruz fan. I just think I honestly believe everybody's brain has the ability for intellectual thought. So I don't push anyone out of listening to them. I listen to what everybody says, and the true things that they say, no matter what spin or flavor they have with it, I'll agree with it. You know, I'm not a Republican. He's a Republican. And I don't believe in the whole Republican Democrat paradigm, but what he said was true. It's too dangerous to allow such a massive corporation, one, to exist, and two, to have a partial political view on anything. Let me go down to the last couple comments. Our rights are regulated, and that's not right. Yes, Selma, they are. Our rights are absolutely regulated, and it's completely unconstitutional. And the federal government has completely overstepped their bounds everywhere. But it's because we watch stuff like this, and we don't speak to the hypocrisy. We watch stuff like this, and we think it's real. We react like it's real instead of reacting how I think we should, which is it's all fake. It's all BS. It's all bullshizzle. And it's not the issue. The issue is the people who are really causing the problems don't get to question the people who aren't causing as many problems. We need more freedom and rights. Stop giving away rights. Yes, Brother Shane, that's what they do. But we are victims of our success and probably the limits of our intellect. People aren't looking at the root cause. They're not doing the critical thinking. Accountability. Yes, Crystal. We all have to be accountable, you know, not just necessarily the Zuckerbergs and the Facebook, but we do too. We still support this, right? We're still here. But I like Facebook. I don't have any plans on leaving Facebook. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't like what they do, but their software is phenomenal at bringing people together. I don't like the idea that there's certain things I'm not allowed to talk about, but it's not my house, right? It's their cafe. Plow over your manicured lawns and plant some seeds. Yes, Billy Johnstone, and that's the only way we get out of it. People have to self-empower themselves. Brother Mark, welcome to the house. Don't be practicing ageism, please. Respect the elders. Yes, Celia. In fact, you know, and that actually is a good topic to begin with. But you know me, I love my centurions. I love my people getting close to 100 years old. Anytime I meet one, I sit them down. I try to get them talking. We always used to listen to our elders, our people who are close to 100 years old. They know a lot more than what we do. They have a lot more experience. I'm not saying they're always right, but we need to have more respect for them. Taking our elders and putting them in these institutions, giving them drugs so their brains don't work, I think it hampers the entire human race and how we evolve. So I'm totally with you on that. I totally agree. They need to be downloading data to us, which make us better, and then we download that data to our kids. But these drugs that they give them, the pesticides they put out there, like we were posting the other day, we were talking about science and what science really isn't. That, you know, they gave all these chemicals that caused autism, they caused Alzheimer's, they caused dementia. You know, all these things didn't come out of a box. The human body didn't magically break They broke the human body. And if they can take away the wisdom of our elders, then it makes us a lot stupider. And that's why I don't believe a lot of this stuff is fake and phony. I think they know the damage it does. And if you question me, go out and look for research and links pesticides to Alzheimer's. The links are all there. Does it cause it all the time? No. But I don't say extreme things like that. It causes it some of the time, which means that every company that makes the pesticide, they need to be on trial. Let me see. I will admit that political theater is entertaining. What's not entertainment is the people who buy into it. No shame, they are very scary. Those people are not entertained. The people who actually believe this and the people who are still on sides in this stuff, Brother Shane, they scare the hell out of me. And they should scare the hell out of everybody. Because it's not the politicians that are scary. It's not the billionaires that are scary. It's not the oligarchs that are scary. It's not the, what do y'all call them? The Illuminati. They're not scary. The Nephilim, they're not scary. Whatever you believe, the Masons, the aliens, whatever you believe, none of them are scary. What's scary are the people with brains in their head, the ability to read and write and make an intellectual, chew in data, crunch it all up, and spit it out in a way that is an intellectual, critical thought. Those are the people who empower all of them. The 0.01%, they would have no power and they wouldn't even exist if the scary people weren't still supporting it. That is our problem. And that's why we talk and have these conversations and try to bring people together, because when more people can start to lay down their indoctrination and admit that you were given your thoughts, that they're not your own, they're not original, then we can go back to being a human race and we can all sit back together and look at something like this and realize that this is all being orchestrated, and it's all being orchestrated to prop up the colony. Siri is not cooperating with you, Mark. Siri ain't supposed to cooperate with you, brother Mark. Walk, walk. Where the chickens at, man? They're not supposed to cooperate with you. Siri is not your friend. Siri is Siri is they're building AI. That's what my belief on Siri and Alexa and Skyvee and all of these things, even on Facebook, all they're doing is they're building AI. They're training AI off of your time, and it's learning how to think. It's learning what you think. It's reading into what you do. And so one day AI will just get rolled out and you'll think, oh, I thought they were going to take a lot of time to test it and develop it. No, they're doing it right in everybody's living room. And we all participate in making it smarter. They got a new one, Bixby. Got it on my phone. I'm like, what the hell is Bixby? Bixby want to talk to me. No, Bixby, you're not on my side, man. I don't know you. We didn't grow up together. I don't know you. Our culture's a little too different. I don't think we're ready for AI at all. Let me see. Last couple comments and I'm gonna go. I love how the concern about how we experience our ads. Yes, Mark, and I don't understand it, brother. I don't understand. But we fall into selective outrage, right? People listen to politicians telling them what they're supposed to be angry about. They take in the talking points from the actual enemy, like the talking points are designed to help anything. The talking points are designed to drive you to think a certain way. And that's what they do. And that's why, like I said, to me, it wasn't about data. It's not about data. It was all about getting people, making sure that the monkeys in the colony are still swinging on the trees, scratching their armpits, eating apples and making noises. And it actually worked for the most part, because the majority of what I saw, the assessment, it was pro-government's going to save us. The senators and the congressmen are going to shut down on Facebook. And really, it was just the billionaires who run the world are actually getting precisely what they want, because now government is having inroads into controlling social media. They will be writing legislation. They will be regulating, because people aren't processing that the enemy is actually giving them their thought. Anyway, that's all I got for today. It was good. That's my assessment of it. It was a game. You got to go back, watch the beginning, watch out my summary. I won't give it again. I just think that we're being played, and the sooner we realize that we're always being played, the sooner we can start to shut down these colonies and go back to being a free people. We all come from cultures that were destroyed by the colonizers who took over the whole damn planet. And the sooner we go back to having smaller cultural tribes, bringing back the holistic medicine, bringing back the working as a community, bringing back the sustainable living, bringing back all the things from all of our people that we all held before the elite realized that they can control an entire world by indoctrinating children, wiping away your culture, and getting you to buy into these debt currency model solutions. The sooner we can go back to evolving. But short of that, we're not evolving. We're just marching towards making the colonies stronger and stronger and stronger to the detriment of all of our kids. Anyway, this is Gerard. Love y'all to death. Have a phenomenal day. Springtime has begun. I'm planting seeds. I hope you are too. Bye-bye.